Hey guys, welcome to this show of Football Teen Talk. I'm Nathan. Thank you for watching. If you saw my last show, first 16 picks of the first round mock draft, good for you. But if you did not, you might want to watch that before you watch this show, because a large portion of this show will be talking and focused on that mock draft. So again, go ahead and watch that before you watch this show. But with that, let's get started talking about that mock draft. The Cleveland Browns, they took Myles Garrett, number 1 overall, great pass rusher in my mock, and that's no surprise. Most mock drafts have that happening, but with the 12th pick, I see a QB going to the Browns in most mock drafts, but I pick O.J. Howard, and the reason why I did not pick a QB like Trubinsky or Kaiser to go in that 12th pick is because I don't think, honestly, that the Browns need one right now. They with Kessler and Osweiler, they're pretty set there for now. Now, of course, maybe none of those two guys are long term, but Kessler, with a bad offense last year, still performed very well. And I think that with Osweiler behind him, they're going to create competition. And I don't know if Osweiler's a bad quarterback like people said he was last year. Maybe he just wasn't in the right system. Maybe he didn't have the right coach. So there's a whole bunch of factors going into that. And I think they're pretty set heading into this year with that position. So why not put some pieces around Kessler, because again, with a bad offense last year, he still performed very, very well. And put pieces around him like O.J. Howard, who can change the game. He's a pass bot. He can block, and he can go out and catch the ball. He can be a great playmaker next to Gary Barnidge. And I think that with those two picks there would be great. You get a pass rusher and a tight end. And I would love to see the Browns go, if O.J. Howard's still on the board, with that 12th pick to O.J. Howard, just because he brings so many stuff to the game, so many styles to the game. So if the Browns go quarterback there, disappoint me just because of all that Kessler did last year. And I think he earned the right to get to be their starter for another year. And also, you look at it, this quarterback draft class is not great. There's only one guy that can kind of be a starter from day one, although I'm not sure about that. I think Deshaun Watson's the only guy who doesn't need that much work. But still, even Deshaun Kaiser, or even Deshaun Watson, they're still, this is not a good quarterback draft class. And you look at a class coming up next year, you might have Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, even Lamar Jackson might be in it. And I definitely wait for that. So build a team. And if they do want to go for a quarterback, you can find one in the second round probably. I don't think top 4 quarterbacks, Kaiser, Trubinsky, Watson, and Mahomes, are all going to be gone by that pick. I doubt they'd all be gone. And if this mock draft goes the way the first 16 picks go the way I thought it would, then I doubt it's not gonna happen. There's not 3 teams in the next 16 picks and 17 through 32 that need quarterbacks. Maybe you can count the Texans as a team that needs a quarterback. But other than that, there's not a team that really needs a quarterback. So the Browns, I'd be very, very disappointed for them to take a quarterback there. I think it'd be kind of another, you get the 12th pick, so why not do something good with it? Why not add another dimension to your football team? And there's a couple of other surprising picks. Deshaun Watson, maybe not too surprising, but I haven't seen him in a lot of mock drafts go to the Jets at number 6. And the Jets really need a quarterback right now. I don't think Hackenberg or McCown, Petty, I don't think they're starters at quarterback. Maybe Hackenberg is. We didn't really see him play last year, but still, they need a quarterback. And this team, unlike the Browns, with a quarterback, they could be competitors. The Browns, regardless if they have a quarterback or not, they're not going to be competitors next year. And the Jets, they could. I don't think even with a quarterback they make the playoffs, but Deshaun Watson, he really helped the Jets out. at that quarterback position. And then there's teams, unlike the Jets, who could really, with a pick, put themselves as Super Bowl contenders. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a great example of that by adding Deshaun Watson and Chris Baker in free agency. I think Chris Baker was a huge bargain deal. So their defense is pretty set. Their wide receiving corps is set. Maybe there's a hole at running back. Maybe you might want to add another offensive lineman or two. But the Bucs are pretty set. You look at the Dolphins, they only really need a defensive back. And then there's a team like the Titans, who they were nearly a playoff team last year. And then they have a top 5 pick because of that trade last year. And I think the Titans are in the best position out of any team right now in the National Football League. They have a young quarterback. They've got a good defense, and really doing well in this draft could establish themselves as competitors. So I'd look for those teams to really. I'm watching those teams' draft picks closely, because if they can do right, if they can go by need. In this draft, they could really make things happen last year. Especially Corey Davis at that 5th pick to the Titans. He's just such an interesting player. He comes from a non-Power 5 school, and that's kind of the real knock on him. He's got great size, he's got good speed, he can catch the ball, but has he playing a competition? Because he's dominated the conference, but he hasn't played a real defensive back that can actually challenge him. So is he, when he gets into the NFL, going to be able to match up against elite defensive backs? And that's a real question with Corey Davis. But I think other than that, he's the best wide receiver in the draft class. But lots of people would disagree with me on that, like Mike Williams. I had him going to the Buffalo Bills with the 10th pick in the draft, so there's a guy like that. He's a very talented receiver. And then you have a speedy guy like John Ross, who broke the combine record. That's interesting. That's an interesting pick going to the Ravens. But the most interesting pick to me in this whole draft that I did was Jonathan Allen going to the Saints with the 11th pick. I couldn't really find a place for him in that top 10. There were just other guys, teams. For me, I think most of these top 10 teams are going to go need, unlike a team like the Browns. But he fell to the Saints in this mock because I'm questioning if he can stay on the field. But if the Saints get him at 11, that's a huge bargain deal for them, and they could be very. They need a defensive back, but they're gonna have a great pass rush next year if they are able to get a guy like Jonathan Allen to their football team. But with that, let's talk about the Tony Romo retirement. The biggest news of all this week. That I said that he should retire and become a broadcaster. So that's exactly what he did. And I think that he's going to be extremely happy with the decision he made, because unlike other than the Texans, there's not a team in the National Football League that's going to pay him what he wants and he can be a starter there. And I think the Texans, I wasn't sure that Tony Romo also wanted to play another year, because I wasn't sure if he could stay on the field for another year. So I'm happy with his decision. I like what he did. But yeah, so that really, he really did well in that decision. A couple of my viewers said last week that when I said that Brady, I didn't think that he could play 6 or 7 more years. They gave me a list of quarterbacks that they thought could play, that did play 6 or 7 years until their mid-40s, until about age 45. And yeah, there are guys who have done that. Brett Favre played till he was 41. Warren Moon till he was 44. And those are 2 elite quarterbacks. Now, Tom Brady, of course, is better than both of those 2 quarterbacks. But if you look at their stats, their play decreased big time when they turned past 40. They were not elite quarterbacks in any way. So even if Brady somehow stays in the league till he's 45, he's not going to be the Tom Brady we see today. He's not going to be the guy who just dominates the whole field. So, with that, the show is a wrap. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, please put them in the comments bar below. Please put them in the comments bar. And this show is a wrap. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more football Teen Talk.